Let's get it. During my after show live, right after Christine's wedding special, one of my subscribers, Shauna Letty, actually made an excellent point. And the point was pretty much this. The series started with a wedding. The wedding was between Robin and Cody. And this would be the perfect time for them to complete the circle and end the series with a wedding. That wedding being David Woolley and Christine. Now, because I like parallels and I like to draw a contrast between two things, especially when we see a relationship that potentially could work and a relationship that has subsequently failed, I think that it'd be interesting to take a step back and take a look at the interpersonal dynamic of these types of relationships and what are the differences. As I'm looking at the differences between Cody's relationship with Christine versus David Woolley's relationship with his now wife, Christine, there are some things that I noticed about the physical difference and how they carry themselves when they're around Christine in particularly. For instance, when we take a look at Cody and how he used to dance, because, you know, Cody is the lord of the dance. It's all about the movement. It's all about the rhythm. It's all about the frenetic energy and the pulse of everything that's going on. When I take a look at how he dances with his partners, a lot of his dance movements are centered around himself. They're all about his pleasure, his enjoyment, his fun. It's not about his partner or being engaged with his partner. In fact, during the wedding special, Robin had this to say about Cody wanting to take her out to dance. Let's take a listen.
Cody always wants to go dancing. And I'm always like, not unless we take a dance class together. And he's like, why? And I go, because when we're dancing, I become the pole and you dance around me.
You become the pole and he dances around you. That's Cody being concerned with himself. And even as we watch later, as we could see glimpses of Cody dancing or interacting with the wives, we know that a lot of Cody's interaction with the wives had to deal with himself. Everything that he dealt with them about was always about his pleasure, his convenience, how they could serve him and make his life easier. Even when he talks about the big picture of the family mainly centered around what was convenient for him and what made him feel good as he was moving throughout the family and dealing with his children if he could or he wanted to, or if he dealt with his wives when he felt like it or he wanted to. And each one of those interactions had to be pleasurable for him. They had to be enjoyable for him. And if they weren't enjoyable for him or weren't taking his comfort or ease or convenience into consideration, then he was deeply offended by that. And he would even go as far as to say that the people who were not making things easy for him were actually being disloyal. And even with the physical movement of the dance, there is an opportunity where you can experience a certain level of intimacy with your partner, whether it's through touch or physical contact, eye contact, so on and so forth. But let's take a look at how Cody was dancing with Christine during one of the earlier episodes. This episode excerpt comes from an episode where they had just done the family commitment and they were supposed to be reading off a bunch of stuff, and they had a big party when they had the houses in Las Vegas. And during that time, they had a big dance-a-thon. They had a band ripping and everybody was having a good time. And this is Cody dancing with Christine. Let's take a look. And during that time, you could see that Cody wasn't making any eye contact with her. It's all about, she was more or less a prop for him to enjoy the dancing. So he has a partner to swing around and banty about them. They're dislocating their shoulders. But there wasn't any care or concern. There wasn't any compassion. And that, for me, is illustrative of the type of relationship that he had with his wife, Christine. That there wasn't a whole lot of intimacy. There wasn't a lot of connection. There was the act of doing the thing, but there was an involvement with the act on either party. Like Christine is there, she's dancing, she's doing her, playing her role and playing her part, but Cody wasn't paying any attention to her. Now, let's take a side-by-side comparison between that instance and what happened during Christine's wedding when she was dancing with David for the first time. And we can see the physical difference between those two interactions. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time.
Very cute, very cute. Now, I'm not one of those people that, oh, you got to be a perfect dancer when you go out and dance, but I am aware that when you go out and dance, there is an opportunity for you, especially when you go out and dance with someone. It should be a time when you're actually dancing with that person or participating with that person, as opposed to you're basically doing your thing and you're using them as an excuse for you to be able to go out and show off your dance moves and the things that you want to do. Now, there's also a point where Cody had talked about his approach to the mosh pit, or what he called the Brown family mosh pit. Let's take a listen to what he had to say with regard to missing out on Christine's wedding and this very important aspect of the big party that he felt like he was deprived of.
I'm sad that I'm having to miss the Brown family mosh pit. Now I feel left out because the Brown family mosh pit is so much fun.
And again, this isn't necessarily a, oh, this is how they should do it, and that's not fun if they do it that way. It's just a thing that I noticed for the sake of the story. So if you're looking at the storytelling and the differences between the two parties and how they interact with each other, it's notable to me that when you have the Brown family mosh pit, everybody is acting as an individual. Everybody is splintered apart. And this is supposed to be a time when they were actually supposed to be uniting as a family, coming together as one single unit. And when they have this celebration to celebrate coming together as one single unit, they take that opportunity to everybody doing their own individual thing as a big group. Within the big group, everybody's doing their own individual thing. Now, if we contrast that with the wedding, ironically, when Janelle was talking about the wedding and even some of the kids, they said it's so nice that we have a family identity, that we have have this thing that we can hold together and look at as us coming together as a family. But ironically, them coming together as a family is missing Cody and Robin in that family picture and in that family dynamic. And it's ironic that now they feel that they have a family identity with the so-called patriarch and the person who is supposed to lead and guide and define what the family identity is missing. And in his absence, they're able to find their family identity. Now let's take a look at what happened as far as the, instead of having a family mosh pit where everybody jumps in and does their own thing, in the wedding reception, Christine and David experienced something a little bit different.
Their movements suddenly started coordinating.
And as you can tell from that experience, this is a time where Cody and would have been jumping around the crowd on the outside, inside, all around the crowd like he's trying to put a fire out. But in this particular instance, David and Christine find themselves in the center of this group, the center of this large family gathering. And the family is moving as one. Now, if we're looking at it from the production side of it and even a directorial side, the artistic side of it, this would be the culmination of the two of their families merging and becoming one. This is actually a successful version of the failed unification of the Brown family, where they had the big party that was supposed to celebrate them all coming as one, and the example or the physical embodiment of that is the Brown family mosh pit, where everybody breaks off and does their own thing, as opposed to this particular union where Christine and David come together as one. They unite with each other during the ceremony, and after the ceremony, during the reception, the two families become one family and operate as a unit to celebrate the union between Christine and David. Let me know what you guys think. Am I full of bunk? Am I pushing it too far? Am I pushing the limits? Let me know. I think it's interesting, and I think that this may even be, it may not be something that Christine sat down and thought about or Cody sat down and thought about, but I certainly think that this is something that the TLC production crew as well as the director may have considered as they were putting these two different scenes together side by side. Let me know what you guys think. That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCA.